and I am joined by first Cereline playing as.
I'm playing Tazarath, the evil paladin of conquest, sworn to bring order to everything he runs across.
Excellent. We are also joined by a player playing 2-for-1, Ryanaga playing as.
Snake, who is a Yuan-Ti sorcerer of the Draconic bloodline, naturally, and Fixer-Upper, who is a half-orc war priest.
Marvelous. Next up, we are joined by Starmie playing as. Did you push to talk?
Oh yeah, I guess that would help. It's Melrath, the dwarf
The dwarf what?
Eldridge Knight.
Gotcha. And last but far from least, we have Kyle playing as.
What did I say I was going to change my name to?
You never said.
Stardust something.
You said something along those lines, yeah.
Yeah, Stardust.
Anyway.
That Mac. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm playing as a tiefling warlock.
Marvelous. Okay, so to catch both the players and the viewers up on where we were last time, the last time we did our adventure, we were traveling through the Underdark, and oops, give me just a second. There we go. We were traveling through the Underdark to make our way to Slubdildot in the hopes of using passage across the Dark Lake in order to escape the pursuing drow. It would be a lot harder for them to track you across that because, of course, they can't look at tracks or smell or anything like that, and you could end up anywhere. So the party is well ahead of their drow pursuers, and you had managed to finish up a what was that tome? The last tome of KM, I believe it was.
Tomb.
Yep, Tomb. Thank you. And having finished that area, the party also acquired a great deal of powerful magical items, which will surely come in handy in the situation which they now find themselves, which is having approached Suldaldot, you were encountered by a Kuo Toa warband led by the Archpriestess, or Archpriest, perhaps? Yeah, Archpriest. Ploop Ploop Een. A very important figure. And Ploop Ploop Een has decided that the most effective way to right the situation in which he finds himself is to pretend to enslave the party. And to catch you guys up on the situation as well, so you don't have to remember, it turns out that Ploop Ploop Een worships the Sea Mother, which is the goddess that the Kuo Toa have invented, and the one that was in vogue for a good long while. And while worshipping the Sea Mother, things were relatively peaceful. People weren't dying, and all of a sudden, Ploop Ploop Een's own daughter. Yep, daughter. Blop Blip Blod. Yep, Blop Blip Blod. Experienced a powerful vision of Limogun, the Deep Father, proclaiming it to be the new god of her people. And along with that god's appearance, Blip Blop Plod has had a great increase in her magical power, and that has caught the attention of far too many Kuo Toa, and the balance is starting to shift in the direction of this new god. And so Ploop Ploop Peen is hoping that by pretending to offer you up as sacrifice, only for you to break free at that moment, if you can slay Blop Blip Plod, that will end all of this nonsense about the Deep Father. Everyone can be reunited under the Sea Mother, and you will be rewarded by Ploop Ploopine. So, is everybody clear on the situation at hand?
Crystal clear.
Wonderful.
I don't know. Maybe you should say those weird names a million more times.
Oh, I plan to because one of the things that's
Plu
really
plu pleen.
one of the things that's super great is that they have notable Kuo Toa and Sloobdildop, and they have them here, and they also have short versions that I can call them. So Plooploopine is henceforth known as Ploop, and so we've got Ploop, Blop, Gloog, and Clib, and we'll get to all of them.
No, I don't. I don't want to get them confused. I think you should say their full names.
They sound so similar though.
Mm,
Okay, I think I'll have to do their full names then. Oh, so one of the other things that I wanted to bring up, first of all, the party in the process of being quote unquote enslaved. Your situation, as I understand it, unless some update in here corrects me, is that your hands are bound. You still have all of your gear. You still have all of your weapons. You're still in your armor. Um, and so sorry, I was reading. Um, so the things that bind your hand are not especially difficult for you to get free of. It doesn't require a strength check or dexterity. It simply requires, like, if you were in combat, to just say I'm using an action to do this. So that's that particular situation. Um, the other thing that I wanted to make the party aware of was that the general features of the city that you're coming up upon, just so that you have a sense of, what the space is like. As far as light goes, this cavern is almost entirely dark, except for a few spots of dim light that come from phosphorescent fungus and coral, or from glowing cave fish glands, which are strung out like lanterns. Um, the Kuatoa seem to have a bad reaction to bright illumination. Um, and so there isn't especially an awful lot of it. When it comes to any bridges or platforms, they're rather haphazardly strung throughout the city, connecting various levels of structures with each other, as well as crisscrossing open spaces. Moving across them, it can be done at a normal pace, but none of them look especially sturdy. And since you guys are generally a bit bigger than the Kuatoa themselves, you guys are also uncertain just how much weight they can take at any given point in time. Um, Now, when it comes to any communication that goes on here, all of these Kuatoa speak Kuatoa, and as a result, that means that Kyle, with his telepathy, is capable of translating, and Shushar is capable of translating. If anybody speaks Undercommon, I will probably do some typing in that if I, want to engage that feature. But just for the sake of it, since we have both Shushar and Kyle, and actually Stool for that matter, um, we have telepathy. So just to speak as normal, don't worry about language, and you'll be fine. Okay?
Sounds good.
Alrighty then. So I don't have to worry about that anymore. I think I've got all the information that I need here. So the next thing that I want to do, there we go. All right, I'm gonna share yet another fucking enormous map. All right. Oh, and that reminds me, I need to pull up the combat tracker and the party sheet. Okay, so let me check here.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Blue dot. I think you've been mispronouncing it.
I almost certainly have, and reserve the right to continue to do so. Okay, so now I'm gonna start
Expected
highlighting
better.
some stuff. What would be better?
I expected better of you.
You expected wrongly.
You chose poorly.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. Here's the first part. If I'm not mistaken, let's see here. Oh, actually, let me do one last thing because I think there is a. They've done this again. All right, we'll just have to put up with it. I wanted to expose the Rosetta because north is awkward. I really just wish north would always be to the top of the map, but they chose not to do that here. So, get used to it. Anyways, Subdildop is enclosed to the north and south by these outer walls, which are made of heavy netting. They have sharp bone hooks woven into them. And at the middle of each wall is a gate through which creatures can safely pass. Now, for future reference, if you're ever trying to just, you know, flee and escape through the netting or something like that, um, there would be an acrobatics check to do so. A failure to do so would ultimately mean that you get caught up in the nets because you know, as with everything the Kuo Toa do, this is all done rather haphazardly. And actually, that makes the net walls pretty efficient at catching things because it's not like, in a action movie when the hero, is dodging through all the laser beams and he can do so because they move at these like intervals and consistent patterns. No, none of that here. The chaos of the nets makes them quite difficult to slip through. And you can see that each of these gates are guarded by 4 Kuo Toa that seem to have some sort of whip-like um, weapons equipped. As you move through, you are, brought forth by Ploop Ploopine, who is making a big show of having captured these dangerous adventures. And yeah, so I'm moving through this. As you are moved through town, and give me just a moment. I think it's supposed to go here.
I'll make sure to play up the heel angle by saying, shouting to passersby, "I hate you! Your names are stupid!"
In their language, or just in common, like a
I
madman?
don't know their in common, just to keep up the appearance.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that works for me. Give me just a moment. Um, hmm, that is fascinating. What if I do this? Okay, poo poo bean. Da, 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 da. I will get to those in a moment. Is it here? I'm sorry, I've lost something that was pretty important to me.
No.
Yeah,
You want to talk about it?
I think I will actually. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to cover. So there's one other thing that I wanted to mention about the Kuo Toa themselves. And let me see here. It's right. Oh, here we go. When it comes to the Kuo Toa, these creatures, in evolutionary terms, are only relatively recently amphibious. They've started to prefer living on land at some point, and they seem to have a lot of very leftover habits from living an aquatic life. Um, they uh, they lack eyelids entirely, so every single Kuo-toa, whether it's awake or asleep, just kind of stares blankly. Um, they have these gargling voices with a guttural bubbling quality, and they seem to communicate with each other as much through gesture as they do with speech. Kuo-toa are almost never still. They're always twitching and darting, and they pace constantly. If they're having a conversation with a single creature, they'll circle it while talking. And with so many Kuo-toa now in one place, you can see that they actually, all of this movement makes them look an awful lot like schools of fish, which is, of course, exactly what they are. But it does, however, drive home just how bizarre and alien these creatures are. So, as you're brought through these gates, the Kuo-toa guards, seem fairly relaxed about your existence. Um, you're clearly bound up, so they don't give you any particular hassle, but they do keep their hand on their weapon should you try to escape. So as you're brought through from the south, you start making your way into this village. And actually, let me grab someone from here. Uh, yeah, we'll use Fargus. There we go.
The
Fargus
clear
is the
choice.
Fargus is the perfect choice. F for failure. So you're brought into the city through this gate over here. I know the gate isn't super well marked, but it's just between these two bony protrusions, and you're brought through in this direction. And if I remember correctly, yes. So the party continues to advance through the city. The Kuo Toa that look at you, despite like all of um, performance that Tazarath is putting on and sort of jeering at people, the Kuo Toa are surprisingly calm about your presence. Um, as far as creatures of the Underdark go, they're actually pretty low on the totem pole of incredibly dangerous things that might kill you. So them having captured creatures such as yourselves is quite an accomplishment for them. And as a result, you are surprised that they are not more celebratory, perhaps. And it's also noteworthy that each Kuatoa very much has their own reaction. Like some people are like, "Yes, we've captured them. We'll sacrifice them to our gods," and then other people seem to ignore Pluplupine altogether. And ultimately, you are brought before this big statue. A 9-foot tall statue stands here. Its body is roughly carved from from some kind of wood in the shape of a humanoid female. Its head and forearms formed from the severed head and claws of a giant albino crayfish. These parts are lashed on with strands of gut and emit an overpowering stench of rotten shellfish. Shells, brightly colored stones, mushrooms, and rotting fish are piled at the statue's feet and strung in garlands around its neck. 4 stern Kuo-toa circle the statue, alert and on guard, while a few others mill about, gazing upon the statue and bowing repeatedly while chanting. Um, as you are brought through this area, the priestess Pluplupine that has you, or maybe it's priest, they keep changing, um, comes before the statue and briefly lays out some shells and a gemstone that she seemed to have on her person at the time. She lays all this stuff before the statue and does some arcane, religious arm movement, and then nods to the guards who sort of roughly shove you guys again forward. And you come. I'm gonna actually get a. There we go. Let me make a little wider circle because you guys can see more thanks to dark vision. There we go. And the party comes to this space over here with all the blood in front of it. Okay. So, um, give me just a moment. I gotta pull up the appropriate. Covered that part. And I believe it's right here. Okay. So the players are brought to this ramshackle abode. The front of it has a net which has a series of hooked bony protrusions that seem to be made from things like about the size of a large bass's rib bones, perhaps. They've all been sharpened, and so there's this razor sharp door that can essentially be netted closed. And this structure itself is covered in even more of those bony protrusions, making the prospect of getting anywhere near it just as dangerous as a fish getting near a hook. Ultimately, you are unceremoniously thrust inside and left there for the time being. So, as the party is inside, Shushar immediately goes over to a rotting pile of fish and starts rooting through it. And after a moment, he starts pulling out some fish heads and basically starts to devour what apparently is perfectly suitable food for a Kuo Toa, which smells like it is utterly rotting.
I didn't know he was Swedish.
Better than fermented. That is also an option. So at this point, what happens? You suddenly begin to hear, after about 45 minutes, you suddenly begin to hear a loud rising gargle coming from outside, and it would sound something similar to the cheering of a crowd. Were you amongst humanoids? And after not too much longer, there's the wet slap of finned feet outside of the door, and they pull aside this curtain, and there are two guards, and they're wearing a different outfit than the guards that brought you here initially. So yeah. So ultimately, they thrust out their hooked spears, and they gargle at you. Sacrifices, come with us to your doom.
And I thought I was the theatrical one.
You were until they came along.
No.
Um, there we go. I'm gonna once again grab Fargus, drop him over there. So at this point, oh,
Poor Fargus.
give me just a second. The map is so big, it kind of gets in the way of some of the shit I'm trying to do here. Um, gotta love that. Is that okay? Yeah, I think I got it all together. So, the party is marched a short distance, about, let's see, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 feet from the place that you were held. And you find, actually, first up, I'm going to share a picture. You are marched out into a relatively open area before this altar.
Ew.
The idol of Limugulglun, the Deep Father, consists of a large hide cut roughly in the shape of a manta ray and stretched out on cords between two support poles. A dead, splayed out manta ray, wait a minute, okay, is pinned to the center of the hide. Two octopuses are draped across the top. Their tentacles are pinned and artfully arrayed. Their heads are tied together and painted with red and blue pigments. The idol reeks of decay, and the broad stone altar below the idol is stained dark with blood. You can see that there are about 6 Kuo Toa that work at the altar, cleaning up and arranging the various offerings that are that Klib Dul Lugut has dedicated to the Deep Father, and he stands in front of the altar with 2 Kuo Toa. Um, and so there are various live fish that are being sacrificed. Obviously, there's this manta ray and these octopus. All of these sacrifices are clearly of live creatures, and yeah. So ultimately, you are all sort of thrust into the area around this altar. So I'm going to briefly drop you guys onto the field. And then I'll arrange you, and you guys can sort of arrange yourself amongst whatever grid I put together. Let me see here. Bob. Tazarath. Okay. Oop. I'll move Fargus here. And then I'm going to actually, snap people to the actual fucking grid that we have here. There we go. Oh, here we go. I can zoom in. That makes things way easier. All right. There's Bupito. Bupito does absolutely love this place. They have such a good sense for the design and arrangement of corpses.
Can't forget about the Bupito.
No, he's truly inspired and hopes to make an entire furniture set out of the village at hand.
I've forgotten what all these guys look like.
Oh, have you? Let me
Well,
pull
kind
that
of.
shit up. Let me see here. I think I have the stuff that's already been
Ceres?
shared.
No, I can pull it
Everybody,
up.
yeah, everybody except Farkas is in the.
Poor Fargus.
We should come up with an image for Fargus.
I can do that.
I gotta imagine it's something like a hobbit.
like this. Everybody
Like,
say, huh?
okay.
What's up?
Poor Fargus.
Something wrong with Fargus?
Or us.
I
Let's
think-
get him sacrificed.
He's been the only useful one.
This is true.
except for
Him
Ron.
and
Ron,
Bupito.
yeah, Ron.
Well, Boopito's had his moments. Actually, Topsy and Turvy being able to just blind every fucking thing are pretty fucking dangerous as well.
I don't know. Bupito made a whole couch, dude.
Yeah, but he didn't actually
That's
kill
valuable.
the creature.
I don't care.
You wouldn't. So I'm arranging some stuff. So now at this point, there are a pretty serious group of Kuo Toa that are all here to see your sacrifice. And so I'm in the process of arranging them because, of course, they couldn't be bothered to do that themselves. So I covered all those things. Now, I know that this is kind of a strange picture for the altar. I think this green thing right here is what the altar is supposed to be.
Mhm.
So anyways, covered that part. Okay.
So, is there a deep mother as well as the deep father?
Well, the sea, what's her face? Sea
The first statue, the Sea Mother.
Mother, thank you. The Sea Mother is the equivalent of the Deep Father, and I think that there's some sexist bullshit going on here in the Kuo Toa culture because apparently father outdoes mother for whatever weird ass reason. So, anyways, that aside, let me try. I just got to shrink this map a little bit because I need more space. There we go. And then recenter. Perfect. So, that go like this. So, from down here, a Kuo Toa priest comes out, draped in all sorts of, raiments of priestliness, with a large staff made out of the spine of some aquatic creature that is curled near the top. And the priest slowly walks and walks and gets up to the altar. And he spreads his hands out and starts waving just the hands at his wrists in the air at all the creatures. And they all start trilling around you, making this horrible, totally off key collective note as a group. And so, oh, well, it's all fine. And then it says, first, we must choose which among of these the Deep Father wishes as his first sacrifice.
Fargus.
I'll let you know who that character ends up being.
He's rolling D12
Yeah,
or something.
yeah, that's exactly my plan. Let me do exactly that. You in the back. Let's see here. This Kuo Toa monitor comes, grabs Turvy from his location, and starts to bring him close to the altar. So at this point, I'm going to encourage the party to tell me when they break free of their bonds in order to save whomever might be sacrificed.
The first thing I'm going to do is, because I've got a infernal legacy, I know thaumaturgy as a cantrip.
Okay.
I will cause harmless tremors in the ground.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay. So,
That's
yeah.
I'm trying to
You're trying to what?
I'm trying to psych them out.
I have that too. Should I do something?
You can
That-
if you wish to.
That's really
but
freaking.
I recommend doing something useful instead, but that's just me.
this could actually be useful, but I guess what I kind of want to get at, Chris, is that for the sake of this, you just causing tremors in the ground doesn't necessarily indicate that it comes from you. Do you know what I mean?
I thought he was just trying to scare him and make him flee.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, so as Turvey is brought forth towards the altar, um, you don't really need to do too terribly much with your hands in order to affect the earth in this particular way. So you sort of stretch out your fingers behind you and push forth your thaumaturgical power. And this tremor begins to rock in the earth as I believe that's Turvey. Yes, Turvey approaches the altar. And at this point, the Kuo Toa priest raises his hands and shakes them further. The Deep Father is pleased with the blood of this mortal. He hungers for his body and flesh.
Well, that backfired.
At this point, we should all break free. And
All
No,
right.
no, no. I think we need more tremors.
Wait, Kyle! Tremors! All right. If roll initiative, go for it.
All of us?
Oh yeah. Everybody should.
Unless you want a tremor, sure.
Hey, even if you want a tremor, you gotta.
Yeah.
you gotta
Okay.
Wait your turn.
Which one is initiative again? Damn it.
It's on the.
The one in the middle on the front page. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did it.
Okay. Just waiting on one more character. There we go. All right. It looks like you guys might have a problem. Yeah. So actually, it turns out that the first character in the initiative order is well, wait, where did the marker go? Oh, it got moved when the order changed. All right, scroll this up to the top. Can everybody see who was highlighted?
Yeah.
yes, monitor 1.
So
Dick.
Turvey is thrust upon the altar, and wait a minute. Yeah, no, this is it.
He just gets sacrificed.
He doesn't get a chance to react or anything.
Actually, here's what happens. He's thrust upon the altar, and the Kuo Toa monitor. Normally, like these monitors, first of all, the two that are up there, they're actually priestly assistants. They're kind of a lower caste, like acolytes, for any other religious order. Normally, especially with a religion where you're going to sacrifice things, you use a dagger that's usually wickedly curved and ceremonial. In this particular case, it appears that the Kuo Toa's monitor's plan is to bite him in the neck until he bleeds to death, as his jaws open wide. And it is a horrific sight because these creatures have a little more than a 45-degree angle bite. So a giant gaping maw, sharp teeth. And that's when something happens that neither you nor the Kuo Toa monitors expected. Turvey begins to convulse, and he suddenly starts to twist and pulse, and his arms twist in his socket unnaturally. Give me just a moment.
Uh-oh.
Pull up my thingy. Okay.
Does he make the ground shake?
No, this is
No tremors?
Pure Turvey. There we go. As he twists and convulses and changes, he suddenly transforms into a were-rat.
What?
And so now
You all laughed.
We did.
and suddenly so does Topsy as well. They both start to twist and change, convulsing and screaming as they take on their new form.
What race were they before?
Deep gnomes?
And now they're were-rats.
Oh yes. Were-rats.
Better than were gerbils, I guess.
Were-hamsters.
So at this point, I'm just gonna have to I'm going to just a second here. I gotta close this up.
Is that the natural enemy of a Kuo Toa?
It is now.
It is now.
I'm gonna go like like this so that we can represent where these were-rats are and keep track of who's who. And then I'm also going to go in here and let me see here. Where are Topsy and Turvy? Actually, it doesn't matter. I'll just keep this aside. In fact, I'll pin it down here just in case I lose it. There we go. So now I have stats for were-rats. And so here's the dangerous factor here. I gotta go find, that's Turvy, right? Yeah, Turvy gets kicked up to the top of the initiative order before Kuo Toa Monitor. What the shit? Oh my god, he's replaced him. Holy shit, that's freaky. How did I...
Now he's multiplying.
Well, that was pretty much what I had hoped to happen anyway, so we'll go with that. The were-rat actually gets its turn first and turns on the Kuo Toa, inflicting multiple bites. So, let me see here. Where's the... Where's it? Aha! I'm just going to use this. So, first things first. Oh shit. The first bite connects immediately with the Kuo Toa Monitor. Wow, and does actually pretty considerably good damage for a bite. Oh shit. So
Is it?
he's just failed his constitution save versus the bite, which is phenomenal because there's no way for me to flub that roll. So that's exactly what I was hoping would happen. As soon as the creature is bitten, it too begins to change and pulse and convulse as the infliction of lycanthropy starts to take hold of it. And it too becomes a Kuo Toa were-rat.
I don't like this. Can we leave?
Well, I mean, so you guys are kind of on the docks. There's a couple of boats out there that do not look particularly fantastic. That is, however, what you came for. Also, just before I even move on to the next character in the initiative order, and you guys should be forming your plan on exactly what you want to do here. That were-rat transformation snapped all the bonds that have been holding it, which is how this bite occurred. But now that he's bitten into the neck of this Kuo Toa, the Kuo Toa's blood has splashed into this altar and is now flowing out the mouth of that mantis nonsense thing that you saw before, and into this very large pot. And so, yeah, Monitor 1 is now a lycanthrope, and all of the Kuo Toa around are acting as if this is somehow part of the ceremony, even though presumably where lycanthropy has never inflicted their village before.
So they're all were-rats too. I got it now.
But they will be in an
Oh,
hour.
yeah.
Most importantly, he gets a second attack and continues to bite into the creature mercilessly. So I have to change this now to reflect his new value as were-rat status. And, oh, wait a minute. He's at 18. I just figured out what I needed to do. Give me just a second. There we go. That solves that problem. So now I don't have to worry about it in the future. So, Turvy and Topsy are now were-rats. Kuo Toa Monitor 1 is also now a were-rat. And now it is time for Kuo Toa Monitor 2. Let's see here. Okay. Kuo Toa Monitor 2 is incredibly freaked out by the situation. And so, yeah, that's actually about all it can manage. It's going to try to cast Bane. And I just need to give it some targets. So give me a moment. Derby. Topsy.
Will it be targeting Darude Sandstorm?
I'm sorry, what?
It's Bane. Will it be targeting Darude Sandstorm?
I don't know what
You're not a big guy for me. Okay, now shut up.
I'm
Okay,
sorry, Chris.
fine.
I don't know what's up with that.
4chan
It
references.
casts. Oh, I see. It casts Bane. Bane as a spell is the opposite of Bless. Up to 3 creatures of your choice that you can see within range have to make Charisma saving throws, which they failed. I believe actually all of them failed, didn't they? Yeah.
Topsy Turvy and one other.
Yeah, and the monitor 1 that was transformed into a were rat. And so right, every single time that they have to make a attack or saving throw before the spell ends, the target must roll a d4 and subtract that number rolled from the attack or saving throw, making them more
Hmm.
likely to fail. This oily black magic reaches out and wraps around them in tendrils. Ront is first to act. Now, with Ront, okay, I'm going to roll. Let me see here. Can I just? Yep. Okay. So how I'm going to handle the bonds is at the beginning of everyone's turn, you can either make a athletics or acrobatics choice, your choice, whichever is
Hmm.
better. In the event that you beat a DC of 12, you get to take your action as normal. In the event that you don't, you can still get free, but it's going to take your action to use, and you'll still be able to move as normal. Everybody clear?
Hmm.
Okay. Ront, however, has failed his strength checks for the first time ever. So he's going to move closer to these Kuo Toa in the sidelines, attempting to menace them, and then snap, he breaks his bonds. And in the following turn, will be able to act. Kyle, you are up, and you will be followed by Melrath shortly thereafter.
So I roll acrobatics or athletics?
Whichever one is
Your
better.
choice. Yeah.
I don't think I'm either.
Indeed.
Mhm.
You try to slip free of your bonds quickly, but unfortunately that only gets you a little more tangled. Ultimately, you are able to free yourself, but it takes a little bit longer, and you may also move to some other location as you want. If you can cast a spell as a bonus action, you can use that this turn.
And I also hurt my back in the process, right?
It is a
Take
little
6
painful.
damage. You fall over. You knock over 3 other people.
I mean, if you'd rolled a 1, it could have been worse.
Are cantrips considered a bonus action or no?
You would have to look at the individual spell. I'll take a quick check real quick.
Oh, okay.
Actions, action.
Isn't
Oh, I
shield
see.
one? I don't. If you have like shield, maybe.
Yeah, Shield is one. Shield of Faith is another.
I don't think he has Shield of Faith.
He does not.
I have mage armor.
Yeah.
Maybe.
If you click on the dragon head, it says like Dissonant Whispers, level 1 enchantment, casting time, 1 action. That slot
Hmm.
is where you're looking for bonus action, if it says 1 bonus action.
Yeah, I think I'm fucked.
You are this time. So unfortunately, none of these spells can be cast as bonus actions. Do remember that Hellish Rebuke is cast as a reaction in response to you being damaged. So if anybody hits you, don't forget you can cast it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So Kyle, if you want to go ahead and move your character to some other location on the battlefield within range, go right ahead.
Uh, mm, where's the entrance again?
The entrance is.
I'm kidding.
Oh, okay.
It's a bad joke.
Oh, gotcha. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and reveal a little bit more since you guys are at the docks, just in case you decide to run up in that direction. I know that on none of these locations you can see like drawn boats, but just trust that at the end of each one of these there is a boat available. I think that for the purposes of your party, you guys are going to end up between like yourself and the prisoners getting split between 2 separate boats. So if the plan ends up being to flee rather than fight, you will need to use 2 separate docks in order to get everybody out of there. Okay. Okay. So
10-4.
next up is Spider Bite, or Spider Bait before Eric is up. So I'm going to have him roll his his dex check to see if he can escape these bonds. He actually manages it, so he gets to have a normal action. So Spider Bait retreats a little bit. Let me see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Moves to there. Spider Bait is going a little crazy. He's very freaked out. Um, no, no, no! I won't turn into one of those horrid things. Don't let them anywhere near me. I don't want to get bitten. And he fires off a crossbow. But unfortunately, he's so freaked out that his crossbow bolt clearly misses Kuo Toa Monitor 1. And that is his turn. So next up is Melrath.
I want to use poison spray on this Kuo Toa number 6. I just click the dice or drop it.
Kuo Toa number 6. Give me just a second. Doesn't it affect an area?
Don't you have to roll escape first?
Oh yeah.
Yes, you do.
Oh,
You managed it. Well done. You very easily snap the bonds that once held you. Range 10 feet. Extend towards a creature. Nope, it's just a single target. Yeah, no problem. So he fails the effect, so you can go ahead and roll your damage against him. Well done. You've managed to wound the creature slightly, surprising it with the puff of noxious gas. Do you want to relocate yourself to anywhere else in the battlefield before you end your turn?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. So with that out of the way, next up is going to be Klib Dul Gut, which, if I remember correctly, is the daughter of the High Priestess that has stolen the hearts of the people. The only other thing that I wanted to add is the next player coming up in 2 actions is Snake, so that you can plan your actions. So, right, yes, absolutely. The Kuo Toa Archpriest is incredibly freaked out by the were-rat scenario. So the first thing that it does is cast Shield of Faith on itself, and then it's going to flee to right about here, which causes the were-rat to get a attack of opportunity against it, which of course will be a bite. Fortunately, that Shield of Faith was more than enough to deflect the creature's flailing and gnashing teeth, and he manages to escape unharmed. So he moves up to that location. Were-rat is a placeholder for me, and Fargus Rumblefoot is here to save the party. So,
Or doom us
Fargus,
all.
well, hopefully save the party. Fargus at this point is going to attempt to use his dex check to escape, and actually manages to succeed. He slips through his bonds quickly, and in the process, causes his hand crossbow to drop down into his grasp, and he whirls and fires it at Kuo Toa Monitor 1, 23. That's a nice hit. Unfortunately, he does not get sneak attack damage because at this particular moment, he is considering Topsy and Turvy to be hostile. So he lands a shot with 7 damage, and then 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. There we go. Next up is Snake. Followed by Snake will be Sarith and then Tazarath.
All right, I'll roll acrobatics and fail.
Okay. That is unfortunate. Your binds continue to stay wrapped up around your wrists until you ultimately are able to free yourself, and you escape. Now, by the way, in your escape, are you attempting to go around Topsy?
Where is Topsy? I forgot. Oh, right there.
Yeah, I changed him to hostile, and I'll change Turvy to hostile as well so that they properly show up on the field.
Uh,
Does that mean they're hostile to us as well?
Yeah, their transformation has caused them to,
lose their mind.
forget who is friend and foe.
So we have to kill them.
Well, actually, question mark. You might be able to subdue them if you choose not to kill them. They would transform back. Lycanthropy has that quality. They're werewolves essentially, except with rats. So if you can choose to do knockout damage, and then drag them away later if you think that you can trust them and handle this situation yourselves, or you can either leave them here or simply kill them like you would any other enemy.
Or we could get Bupito to make us furniture.
That's also an option. However, I would point out that it is the situation that should any of them bite you, that could be a bad time if you fail your Constitution roll, because you too will become were-rats.
So, just to refresh my memory, I can't step over squares, right?
So in order to avoid being attacked by Topsy, any of the 8 adjacent squares, if you enter that space and then leave an adjacent square to Topsy, you will be attacked.
But like I can't step on myself or another character, right?
You cannot end your turn on another character.
Okay.
As
Good.
long as the character is an ally, you can move through their square
All right.
just normally.
All right, that's where I end up.
Okay. So you give, I think that's Turvy. Nope, it's Topsy. Topsy, a wide berth, making your way up behind Ront. Now, is it Snake that has Ront's balls, or is that Fixer Upper?
Fixer Upper.
Fixer up.
All right, no problem. So Snake moves into position. Next up is Sarath. Sarath is almost certainly, yeah, he's going to try for a Dex roll. Also manages to slip his hand free. Unfortunately, I'm not quite sure what to do here, or he's not quite sure what to do here. I think what he's going to do is attempt to use his short sword, and he lashes out at Topsy, but Topsy, the were-rat form, is far more agile than that deep gnome, and it dances out of his grasp. Now, Sarath also looks kind of panicked, and his eyes are kind of glowing red at the moment, and suddenly he, like a zombie, turns around, and he makes his way up here next to Kuo Toa 5. Now, of course, that means that the were-rat is going to get an attack of opportunity, so we'll see if that ends up being a factor. Oop, not that one. He hits!
Oh no.
Here's the damage. And then the saving throw. He succeeds versus lycanthropy, which normally isn't something you would know, but that's the way this all pans out. So he manages to evade the curse, but once he gets next to the Kuo Toa, his hands reach out, he grabs the fish by the face, and he starts to kiss it.
What?
Behave.
No, really, he is full on kissing this creature on the
All
lips,
right.
smearing his own mouth parts across its face. Since Kuo Toa have no ability to manipulate their eyes, you're not sure if it is baffled by this or something else. But regardless, that is...
Well, I'm sure baffled.
Tazarath, you're up. And
What race is Sereth? I forget.
he's a drow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's that disgraced drow. Yeah.
Mm.
Tazarath,
Well.
you are up. I would point out that there are some creatures present that you don't know an awful lot about. But first things first, you should probably roll to see if you escape your bonds.
Yeah, first things first is that athletics roll to get out of my bonds.
Mhm.
That didn't work.
It's unfortunate.
Alright, well the next one is, I guess it would be either, what would that be? That's nature?
Nature.
What are you trying to identify, first of all?
Where at?
Yeah, were rats. So what do
Uh,
I know?
Actually, in this particular case, because the only way to really cure lycanthropy, to
Oh,
the extent that
religion.
it can be, is religion. Yeah, it falls into that.
Oh, okay, that's actually helpful. Yeah. God damn
Or
it.
not.
Well,
Okay, unfortunately, you cannot recall a single thing about were-rats. Um, you're not
We've
even
had some
sure.
pretty bad rolls.
we've had some really terrible friggin' rolls.
That might be the theme for tonight, unfortunately. Right. So, uh, ultimately, uh, next up,
Well, hold on. I've got a bonus action spell.
really? Okay, go on.
Actually, yes, I have Shield of Faith.
Okay.
I can. Who should I use it on? I should use it on the Fixer Upper, so Fixer Upper doesn't fricking die in the midst of our terrible roll.
Sure. Um, cast it on him, and that should do it.
Eh.
All right.
It's
It's fine. I won't worry about Fargus
you
Rubber.
gave it to Fargus too for some reason, and then I'm going to
Yeah,
get
the
to
effect.
this direction.
Okay. And I assume that you avoided Topsy the entire passage.
Oh yeah.
And you're also not within 5 foot of that Kuo Toa, otherwise leaving would result in an attack of opportunity.
I was seriously tempted to just butcher the thing, but yeah, I don't have time.
Okay. So with Tazarath done, it turns out that Klib Gut is actually not the main one, the Kuo Toa Archpriest. That is the daughter, as I can tell from the stat block. And that has a hell of a lot of options. So how do I cast this? I don't. Let's see how it works now. So with fear in his gargling voice, the, the Kuo Toa Archery throws his hands into the air once again and begins chanting. And suddenly, from around and seemingly out of the air, um, these transparent shapes start to take form, almost like mist collecting into bodies. And the forms that it takes are very definitively demonic. They flit about and they look angry and they slash at other creatures. And this creature has cast a spell that you have not seen before. It is a priest, so if you guys want to make a quick religion roll, you might be able to learn some information about it.
All of us?
Anybody can go ahead and roll now. Wow. Why Melrath?
I helped.
Oh,
Wow.
okay. Everybody is baffled, and then Melrath, as he strokes his dwarven beard, says, "This spell! I know this spell. It is quite dangerous indeed. These are spirit guardians. If you are within 15 feet of this creature, and you start your turn, you'll have to make a saving throw. And in the event that you fail, you're going to take 3d8 necrotic damage on a failed save and half as much on a successful one. Every space around within that 15-foot radius also counts as, where's the thingy? Your speed is halved in the area. So whatever your base speed is, it's half of that as long as you are within 15 feet of this creature, which directly affects 1, 2, 3, the fixer upper and no one else. So that is Spirit Guardians.
Brett, aren't you glad I gave you that extra AC?
Just a
Sure.
saving throw. The
Yeah,
AC
it
is
doesn't affect it, but thanks.
So first up is going to be Kuo Toa 1. We're going to go through Kuo Toas 1 through 6, and then it will be the Fixer Upper. Let me see here. Toa 1. Kuo Toa 1 moves forward and attempts to take out... oh, Actually, you know what? He doesn't move forward. What he does is stand right where he is, and he throws his net against Turvey and misses.
Of course.
Kuo Toa 2 thinks this is a fantastic idea, and
Of course.
also attempts to use his only net against Turvey, failing in the process. Kuo Toa number 3 is right there. Okay, he's going to throw a net against monitor number 1 to suppress the were-rat threat to the village, and actually manages to hit. So the net result is
Oh, really?
And the scream right there.
I might leave right now. That was
so
bad.
the Kuo Toa monitor is restrained within. Oh shit! Let me grab the player's handbook. Where is it? Reference material, skills, backgrounds. I just wanted to grab the. Is it appendices? Yeah, here it is. Here are conditions, in case anybody has forgotten what they are. I should have them on my dashboard. Restrained, for reference. A restrained creature's speed becomes 0. It can't benefit from any bonus to speed. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage, and the creature's attack rolls have disadvantage. The creature has disadvantage on dexterity saving throws. That is the effect of restrained, and these creatures each have one net that they can throw. Now, all of these nets, like everything else in this village, are filled with hooks and claws, and so they dig into the flesh of the Kuo Toa monitor, further wounding him. And as you can see, he is now bloodied. Kuo Toa number 4. At this point, he's going to attempt to net Topsy, and actually succeeds against all hope, causing him to become restrained and take damage. Kuo Toa number
So
5.
we're gonna have to kill them, aren't we?
You still have a choice in that matter.
That's what it's looking like.
The question is, do you guys think that you can still make use of them as allies, knowing their were-rat status? Because the other thing that's true is that at this point, nobody knows much about were-rats, so until a knowledge roll can be made, you have no way of assessing the possibility of keeping them.
Yeah, I think we'll just go ahead and let them die.
They might tear everyone apart if they're not if nobody's careful.
You're tearing me apart.
Kuo Toa number 5 is currently being made out with by Sareth.
So what's the condition for that?
Still?
He manages to use his strength check to push away Sareth, and he gargles about consent and thrusts a spear into Sareth's side. The Kuo Toa village policy clearly states. So the spear.
Unhand me, you fiend!
Seriously, that spear is one hell of a deadly effect. It has. Where is he on this? It has knocked him into bloodied value, and in fact, he's a scant few hit points away from going unconscious. That was a deadly attack.
Well, shit. We're gonna lose all our cannon fodder.
And quite possibly. Kuo Toa number 6. He's going to attempt to throw a net at Sareth, which hits, causing him to become restrained.
Death by net? Oh.
And go into death saving throws. Yeah. So there he is. Fixer Upper. It is your turn.
So I'll roll religion first.
Oh, before you do that, so sorry, but I'm going to have to ask you to roll your saving throw. I gotta go find it on the list here. Archpriest, there it is.
Oh yeah,
Saves,
forgot about that.
Save versus magic. You succeed, so you're only going to take half damage. Oh, let me just drop those there. Grab the wrong damage dice. Woof. So that would have been 15 damage, but you ended up taking 7 as a result, as the fiends dig into your flesh. Now you can roll religion. Sorry. Actually, that is good enough. Let me grab the stat block for Here's were rat. All right. So here's what you learn. Were rats take bludgeoning, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical attacks that aren't silvered. Or sorry, can't take damage from those attacks. Were rats are all universally lawful evil. They have dark vision. Although they can speak common, they cannot speak while in rat form. Their mouth does not work in that way. They have perception advantage on wisdom saving throws. Their bite can cause someone to be cursed with lycanthropy, and the information about that is as follows, because you picked that up as well. General information about were-rats. Were-rats are cunning lycanthropes with sly, avaricious personalities. They are wry and twitchy in humanoid form, with thin hair and darting eyes. In their humanoid and hybrid forms, were-rats prefer light weapons and use ambush tactics rather than fighting as a pack. Although a were-rat can deliver a nasty bite in its rat form, it favors that form for stealthy infiltration and escape rather than combat, preferring to turn any creatures it can and then slink back into the darkness. Now, when it comes to lycanthropy itself, this is one of the most ancient and feared of all curses. It can transform the most civilized humanoid into a ravening beast. In its natural humanoid form, a creature cursed by lycanthropy appears as normal self. Over time, however, many lycanthropes acquire features suggestive of their animal form. And in that animal form, a lycanthrope resembles a powerful version of that normal animal. Evil lycanthropes hide among normal folk, emerging in animal form at night to spread terror and bloodshed, especially under a full moon. Good lycanthropes are reclusive and uncomfortable around other civilized creatures, often living alone in wilderness areas far from villages and towns. A humanoid creature afflicted with the curse of lycanthropy after being wounded by a lycanthrope can become one, I should say. A remove curse spell can rid an affected lycanthrope of the curse, but a natural born lycanthrope, namely one where both of its parents are lycanthropes themselves, can be freed by the curse only with a wish. When you are inflicted with lycanthropy, you have two choices. You can either resist the curse or embrace it. If you resist the curse, a lycanthrope retains its normal alignment and personality while in humanoid form. It lives life as it always has, burying deep any of those urges raging inside of it. But when the full moon rises, the curse becomes too strong to resist, and you are forcibly transformed into your horrible hybrid form. When the moon wanes, the beast within can be controlled again, and the transformation reverts. And if you choose to accept what you are, there will be an alignment change to match that of your lycanthrope form, along with a personality change to similarly match that of were-rats as a species. And there's a whole bunch of information in here about what happens if you become a lycanthrope as a player. The alignment becomes the defined one. In the particular case of were-rats, because of the nature of this particular campaign, in the event that you become a lycanthrope, your character is likely going to be lost to the party. There will be a separate roll that you will make to resist the effects of the lycanthropy to see if you personally are able to resist it. If you are, you'll persist and periodically will transform into a were-rat. The other bonus effect is that your character will gain a dexterity of 15 if your score isn't already higher. And that's the only actual effect aside from transforming into a were-rat. So, that is all the information that I have for you on that.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to roll athletics to break free.
Go for it. Wow.
Nice.
Just bust wide open.
All right. Then I will move.
Mm-hmm. Oh, remember you have a... Actually, no, you won't, because as soon as you move out of it, you get your normal speed back. Never mind.
Move here. And then I'm going to use my fireball item.
Okay.
See,
Your necklace?
yeah, see what I
Oh,
can
nice.
see the most damage I can do to the most enemies and were rats if possible. Um, so where's the boss? Oh, okay. The archpriest is right there. All right. So if I center my fireball on the archpriest, what does that take up?
Here, give me just a second. I'll pull out my pointers.
Thanks.
Circle from here. Let me grab this and make sure I have this correct. This is 15. All right, this is a 20-foot sphere. And I've
Okay.
just, for the sake of this, centered it directly on the center of the statue. I think you can pick up my pointer and move it around.
Where do I pick that up?
I'll move it over a little bit. Right where
Yeah,
the
I
20
don't think.
is, if you mouse
Yeah.
over it. So you can pick that up. The radius of fireball is 20 feet. And so, anything that's inside of that radius will have to roll and arrange it however you think is best in terms of, not hitting people. And then I'll target all those creatures and we'll cast your fireball.
I don't think it's letting me do that.
Okay.
I'm hitting pointers, but
Okay. Well,
and then it gives me all these draw options, but not
yeah.
movement.
Well, there is none for movement. Select your draw option, select sphere, and then you click a point on the map and drag away from it, and that causes the sphere to appear.
Oh.
Maybe the spot between number 2 and the archpriest.
Here. Now, also note that for the purposes of this, the dark gray squares are the ones that are affected. So, like in this particular example, snake is not affected. Oh, I'll get rid of mine now because we don't need it anymore.
Maybe 2 spaces left of that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Expand the 20-foot. When you place these, place them on the corners because they're supposed to come from a point. There you go.
So we'll hit Bupido, but desperate times, right?
I guess you don't care about quality furniture.
Not really.
Okay. So you're happy with here.
And that's not going to hit Melrath?
No, it won't.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you zoom in, you can see dark gray squares. Those are all the affected spaces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what? If you're going to hit Bupido anyway, go down to the right.
I
think he means like this to try to.
Yeah, but that would hit Melrath, right?
Go down one from there.
Yeah, I think, and I'm going to move.
That doesn't hit Melrath.
Yeah.
Correct. You can
Okay.
move just like that.
That way it'll hit Topsy and take out both were-rats.
All right, good catch.
All right, give me a second. I'm going to start targeting everything.
Are you going to throw your whole necklace?
Well, actually, that's a really important point. Just how much you get to roll 8d6 as I remember it for fireball.
Yeah.
I think if I go into your inventory.
There's no way I can say Bupido, it sounds like, unfortunately.
No,
Doesn't sound like you want to.
Spells.
Well, I mean, if I were to say Bupido, then we lose.
I mean, Bupido could always potentially roll his saving throw and maybe take half damage.
He could.
He could. Okay.
Can somebody cast Mage Hand and pull him back?
Yeah, with Mage Hand.
No, unfortunately.
The most you can do with Mage Hand is give him a wedgie before he dies.
All right, so
let's do that.
Here's the information that I need. Wedgies are made on a dexterity saving throw. No, I'm just kidding. So there's 8d6 for just a third level fireball. So each sphere from your necklace that you include, and I'm going to just modify your thing here real quick. I've changed the title so that delete item. There we go. Oh, god damn it. I've changed the title to include the number of beads on it. You have 7. So for each bead that you use, you increase the spell's spell level by 1, which adds a d6. Okay.
All right, so that means 2 beads means a 9d6 roll instead of 8.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, the other important thing is that remember that each of these is kicking it up a spell level, and the highest level a spell can be cast at is 9. So if you throw the entire necklace, you're technically wasting a bead. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
So it's 1 for the fireball itself, and then 1 for each additional d6.
I really don't want the archpriest to get another turn because he nearly made my life very difficult with that spell. So
That seems fair.
I say go big or go home.
yeah, I'm gonna throw thought.
I was thinking 3, but
Yeah, that's what I was about to type in 3. So
oh, okay.
we agree. So I'm using 3 balls.
Okay. Let me just modify 7 to a 4.
Trinadular attack.
So
I'm sorry, Bupito. Goodbye.
I'm somewhat sorry, Bupito. Goodbye.
He's a Raymore Flanagan fan.
I'm just gonna sit back and watch.
I think it's monitor 2. Monitor 2, archpriest, monitor 1. Okay. Did I get? Okay, now I've got Topsy and Turvy. That one. That one. That one. And that one. Now let me just make sure that I have all the appropriate characters. There's the Archpriest, 4, 3, 2, 1, Monitor 2. Where's Monitor 1? He's not in.
And unfortunately,
Now he's in here. Yeah, there he is. Okay. Unfortunately.
Bupito as well.
Oh,
Yep.
yes. I should not forget him. Okay, so first things first.
Make Entrel furniture in the sky, poor buddy.
Brett, here's Fireball. Grab this and toss it into your spell list because we need to be able to cast it.
Right.
So obviously we'll just know that that's a result of that. Now the other weird thing, once you pull the damage off of it after the saving throw, make sure to click once to add, or twice to add the additional beads that you need. Okay.
So I do that for damage after?
Yes, because there's no other way for us to simulate the higher spell level.
Alright, so I just cast now?
So I think, yes, you just click cast. You're targeted to everybody, so do that and let's see what happens. Drop it in the... Yep. So you've cast it. We've got failure, 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 Topsy, failure, Bupito, failure.
Oh, the Archpriest failed. Nice.
The only characters that actually succeeded were Kuo Toa 3 and 4.
Wow, they're not...
That's amazing! That is amazing. Also, I see that the Bane was properly calculated, which is nice.
What does the Kuo Toa's dex versus like a were-rat? Wouldn't they have better saves?
Possibly, I can check.
Yeah.
See here. No, actually, as far as their dex goes, they're way less dexterous than the were-rats.
Right. So it was really kind of weird. The were-rats failed.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, like you have a d20. That's technically a 5% chance at any given point in time to roll any number on it. So you
okay.
Yeah, they just got lucky is what it really comes down to. So now I want you to grab all the damage for that and make sure you have the extra dice added in and drop it into the chat. Oh yeah, and also, in case you didn't see, Melrath points out that Monitor 1 got a -1 to his saves, which is hilarious. He super sucked.
So just click twice to add 2 extra die. That's what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. So, that was a total of 35 damage.
Wow, I only wounded the Archpriest? Holy moly.
Yeah, he isn't actually bloodied yet.
Okay.
Oh, Bupito, instant death. Oh, sorry, buddy.
1 unconscious. Actually, let's see here. Kuo Toa 1, Kuo Toa 2. Does any person in the party right now, hold on a second. If you consider Topsy or Turvy to still be allies, I want you to click a check mark. If you don't, make an X.
It will be too long before we can
Yeah, I'm
cure any
hitting
sort of
X.
like.
Somebody hasn't voted.
I don't see it.
It's in the chat at the bottom.
Oh, I see. I was admiring the damage. That's the wrong thing. Okay, there we go.
All right. So then in that case, what I'm going to do is immediately remove Topsy, who died.
Oh,
Turvy,
wow.
who also died. Kuo Toa Monitor also died. You guys actually managed to successfully wipe out every single. Move you over here. Every single. I'm just going to set him at 33 so I can do this. Were-rat on the field.
Good.
Did we sterilize the pool of blood from the altar?
I don't know. Why don't you go check out?
Oh, I'm getting to that. Let me make sure nobody else was expired. Sarah is unconscious. Yeah, nobody else. Oh, Bupito died instantly in the fireball.
In the ensuing explosion.
Yeah, so Fixer Upper grabs his 3 beads, he hurls them, and with perfect precision they land precisely where he intends to. The fireball rips out in a massive 20-foot circle, creating an explosion that echoes through the cavern, and dozens of Kuo Toa cover their eyes. Buildings are set ablaze, as is the altar. The altar
So I guess we're having seafood.
starts to burn with a purplish black flame, which is completely different from that of the fireball that was cast upon it. And at that point, the young archpriest cries out through the explosion, Limo Gogo! As the waters around all of the docks begin to foam. There's something in there bubbling at the surface, just begging something to come within reach. Something
shit.
has happened.
Oh, Christ.
Congratulations, you guys made it all the way through one round. Well done. Now we go back to the top of the initiative order.
Dripping with sarcasm, by the way.
Kuo Toa Monitor 2 is bloodied, and at this point is stumbling around within this fireball radius. What will he do?
Fall over dead.
Protect the priest of the Deep Father. And he casts Shield of Faith upon him. Ront, at this point. What does Ront do? Oh, he's gonna attack this guy. And despite his crappy roll, manages to hit nonetheless. Wow, that is the worst damage he's ever done. The explosion has him a bit shell-shocked. He kind of stumbles a little bit, whirls that great axe, and does manage a glancing blow against that Kuo Toa. But Bob, you are up.
So, the archpriest is the big bad guy here, right?
Yep.
Correct.
All right. So I'm gonna toss him a little mind spike because it just sounds amazing.
Go for it.
I thought about saving Seraph because I have a spare the dying spell, but that's not important.
I can heal him in a turn or two.
Yeah, there you go. Which one is it? Cast or attack?
Cast.
Should say.
Cast should technically do the correct thing no matter what. So you cast the spell, you lash out with your mind, and the creature fails to resist your effect. So go ahead and roll your damage.
Nice.
Ooh. Congratulations. The mind spike that you've hit manages to knock the creature into bloodied value. He's around half health or worse.
Fuck you, buddy.
Your otherworldly influence lashes out against the mad creature, and it grasps its head as its chance of Limo Gogon just speed up to about one every other second. and its eyes bulge even further. Spiderbait, at this point, is a little uncertain that he necessarily wants to deal with the docks because the water around them is bubbling and roiling. He gets to this point and decides to fire off at one of the other priests and manages to hit. I don't know what death effects is, but that's fine.
Oh, that's a shield of faith.
Gotcha. Ah, his hit does middling damage, but the effect causes him to suddenly lose his own shield of faith, and that effect vanishes from him. The dark light that embraced him evaporates in an instant, which is kind of pathetic to be knocked out of it by a goblin, but we'll say no more about that. Melrath!
I'm going to use Acid Splash on Kuo Toa 3 and 4.
Okay, give me just a second. I'm sorry. Acid Splash. You can target 2 targets with that?
If they're next to each other.
3
Nice.
and 4. 3. Oops. And 4. So now you just have to hit the cast button and it should go automatically. They both succeed. They succeed.
And that's my turn.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. They succeed against fireballs, and they both manage to dodge your acid splash. At this
Shenanigans.
Clib Duel Good gets to act, and he is going to. Let me try this. I'm going to do some quick targeting. And there we go. Okay. So now. Failure. So now, unfortunately for Ront, the Klib Dulugut raises his hands and waves them at you, and that oily black magic lashes out once again. First, it impacts against Spiderbait, who waves it away. Then it reaches out for Melrath, who similarly manages to resist the magical effect. But Ront is caught unaware, and Bane grips him. Next up is Fargus Rumblefoot. At this point, what will he do? He is going.
Don't screw it up, Fargus.
He is going to fire this crossbow off at Klubdogat and actually manages to hit for pitiful damage. Snake, you are up. And then it will be Tazarath.
I think we need more fire on the battlefield, personally. So I will be using Scorching Ray.
Okay. Tell me who we're targeting.
We are targeting the big boss.
Big boss with all 3?
Do I have to make that declaration now?
Yes, you have to choose all your targets before you make any rolls.
Yes, all 3.
I think that fireball was my favorite part of this game so far. That's pretty epic.
I did manage to kill a lot of our former allies. Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Before I forget, let me add them to the list real quick.
Death by fireball. Death by fireball. Death by fireball.
Death by fireball.
We should make some furniture in honor of Bukito. What can you make out of a dead octopus?
Did any of our other allies die? Sarath, are you guys going to revive Sarath?
If I get the chance, I'll do so in a turn or 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. He started making out with the fish guy. That's kind of weird, man.
It is pretty weird, and I'm gonna hold it over his head.
I mean, to each your own, but you don't go making out with enemies.
Okay, so I've added everybody to the dead NPCs list. That's taken care of. I have your target. What I want you to do is hit cast once. Okay?
Cast? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cast should automatically do whatever it's supposed to do.
I thought Scorching Rays were attacks, though. That doesn't matter?
I'm going to test and see if it matters. Go for it. It works. Okay, so that was a miss. So you guys can just use cast from now on. So that one's a miss. So go ahead and attack again. You get a hit and attack again.
Nice.
You hit. So I want you to roll the damage once. Go ahead.
It should work once, or
Just roll
Oh,
the
okay.
damage once. It's not going to be able to keep track.
no.
So there's your 5, and roll again.
There we go. Okay.
I'm sorry, not maximum damage. Very close. So your scorching rays lance out as blazing pinpoints against the darkness that surrounds you, and two of them manage to impact, and only one of them narrowly misses the creature. The only thing worse than the smell of rotting seafood is cooked rotting seafood, as you have just discovered. But nonetheless, it was a very effective attack. Sareth, I'm going to roll a death saving throw for, manages to succeed. He doesn't get up, but he's got 1 in his pocket. Tazarath, you are up now.
Let's see. Channeling divinity for a conquering presence. That doesn't use an action, does it?
Channel Divinity
I've been
is
looking
your
it up.
action.
Ah.
I'm 90% sure. I'm going to double check on your character sheet, but I'm 90% sure.
Do you have any way to attack the big boss? I don't want him to get another turn.
Okay.
I do, actually. I've got a couple.
Just so
Good.
you know, here it is. You can use your Channel Divinity to exude a terrifying presence. As an action, you force each creature of your choice that you can see within 30 feet of you to make a Wisdom saving throw. Now, I want to point out that due to the fireball, the Archpriest lost his Spirit Guardians. Okay? So you can actually, charge across the battlefield and get within 30 feet of him, and then, each creature within your of your choice within a space, and we can draw out 30 feet for you if you want to see what that looks like.
Well, if I go to the spot below Malwrath, I can do that, but it's not going to affect anything other than the very bastard Kuo Toas, really. Now that I think about it, I think it'd be a better. I think it'd be a better option for me to use the acid to my advantage and chromatic orb the high priest.
Okay. You know that you haven't actually identified them to know that they're weak to acid, right?
That's a good point. I don't want to waste a spell.
I mean, if acid is like your signature thing, I don't want to dampen your
Well,
ability,
no, actually,
It'd probably be most likely to be,
honestly, I should just continue the fire theme because I know that.
yeah, fireworks.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Okay.
They might be resistant to acid.
Yeah, I'll move slightly closer and chromatic orb of fire
Okay.
against the archpriest. Okay.
Impressive.
Bam.
Is that impressive? Let me think about that. If
He didn't get another.
Not really. It
yes,
didn't
it was
actually.
also slightly
Didn't kill him.
below average, right?
Did it actually deal it to the?
Did it? Did you drop the dice on the creature or in the chat?
No, I forgot to do that.
Okay, you have to drop it on the creature itself, and it appears in the chat. So that's no problem. I'll just add the 10 damage myself. There we go.
Sorry.
No, it's totally fine. I know this program is really finicky. So we got that taken care of. Well done. Your fiery orb lances across the battlefield. It impacts the creature in the chest, and despite all of the damage it's been taking, all of the searing attacks that have raced across the battlefield and hit home, it still gets its action.
Bastard.
Now the real question is, what horrible thing will he do to you next?
I know he has a lot of options.
He does have a lot of options, and now I'm reading them. Let's see.
This is what you live for as a GM. Don't lie.
Oh yeah, it absolutely is.
I think we're fucked.
Ooh.
Can I make the ground rumble to distract him?
Oh, I got news for you guys. Give me just a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me make sure I have this correct.
Ominous counting.
Within 30. Yep, 6 creatures. Perfect.
Ominous hum.
He swirls his staff in the air, creating a circular pattern, and dark energies as a vortex begin to fill it. And then as he stamps it against the ground, they race out across the ground and they whirl up around those creatures, healing their wounds and his. In fact, for the
What?
next, yeah,
No.
yes,
God damn.
and for 16 hit points a pop. So I'm trying to double check on this. I think.
So he healed everyone on his side.
No, Kuo Toa 5 was not healed.
Poor Kuo Toa 5.
Yeah, the archpriest has cast some high level cure spell, which you are not familiar with. Would anyone like to roll religion to try to figure it out?
Sure, not that it changes anything.
No, sadly, you guys are not ready for counter magic. Oh, nobody else needs to roll. Eric is ready with all the info. Kuo Toa 5 has cast a 5th level spell, Mass Cure Wounds. A wave of healing energy washes out from a point of your choice within range. Choose up to 6 creatures in the 30-foot radius sphere centered on that point. Each target regains healing equal to 3d8 plus your spellcasting ability modifier.
Hogwash.
Healing wash. Okay, so Kuo Toa 3 now has the opportunity to act, and he is going to rush over here to Bob. Oh, Bob, have I got a spear for you? No, I don't. It misses. Number 4 is also
Nice
going
try.
to race across the battlefield, similarly attempt to skewer Bob, and hits for...
Damn it.
Wow, maximum damage. That's gotta hurt. Kuo Toa
Man.
number 5. Let me roll for him. Oh no. Kuo Toa 5 suddenly grasps his head and drops his weapon. And as he grasps his head, out from the corners of his eye socket, strange red tendrils start to lash out and run across his fleshy skin. And as they dig in, they form these nodes that glow a dull red and further spread. Around his mouth, these tendrils come out between his teeth, waving at the air. And he turns to his left to his former ally and grasps him, similarly making out as the tentacles seep into his oral cavity. Kuo Toa
What
number
the
6.
fuck did Sarah do to him?
This is a weird sex ed class, but I think it would have worked in high school.
The drow and the Kuo Toa. Oh no. Kuo Toa number 6, as those tendrils reach out and embed themselves within him, they similarly start to infest and break and fester across his skin. Um, as that completes, Kuo Toa number 5 releases him. Kuo Toa number 6 makes a move against Rot.
Don't make out with him, Rod.
Ront gets a 19 to resist the attempt to grapple him and manages to push the horrific slathering mouth back away from him. Ront is unfucking killable. Fixer Upper, you are up.
Okay, well, I guess I can shoot another fireball.
You can? Why
Yeah,
don't you
I
draw
can.
yourself a... Well, I mean, you always can. Do you want to, given the area that it affects?
Well, I'm a little scared of what's going on with all the kissing disease to my north.
That wasn't even the archpriest, though. That was Seraph.
I know it's very concerning right now. I'm very
Yeah.
concerned.
Actually, in light of that, I would like to take another vote. Please click a check mark if you still consider Sereth worthy of saving and an ally. Noting, of course, that presumably only Sarath can tell you what's going on.
Throw him into the water.
Ooh, it's a hung party. Interesting.
Can we insight, or I mean, how do?
That
is
was
there-
my question.
Okay, so in order to attempt to figure out what's going on with Sarath, you would need some time to do a medical study on him. Now, one of the things that I could say,
In the middle of combat.
yeah, in the middle of combat, it's not an option. So the only option you have here, if you truly want to know what's up, and whether or not it may or may not already affect the rest of the party, is because you guys have been sleeping with this person. Okay,
Yes, we have.
so every single night when you've gone to bed and the watch order has come, if Sarath has snuck around and made out with any one of you, you could be next. So in order to do that medical check, you would have to at least drag him away from this. Now, you don't necessarily have to take him out of death saving throws or anything like that, but you could, for example, choose to tie him up and then, drag him off with you guys later. But of course, you would at least need a turn. You would spend an action tying him up, and that might be something that you wouldn't necessarily want to have Kuo Toa out for. So, you guys should...
Yeah, I'm thinking that Elvira was right to have us locked up. Jesus Christ.
And Melrath makes an excellent point as well. Make out disease and were rats. These are some very diseased prisoners. It seems so. So regardless, Fixer Upper, now that you have that particular information, what will you do with your turn? Because it looks like the party is leaning towards trying to figure out what's up with Sarath. That doesn't have to impact your action, but it might.
We need to consider where we are in the order.
You're at the bottom of the round.
Right, but the Archpriest cannot have another turn, period.
Now, the Archpriest does have Tazarath, Snake, Fargus, Melrath, Spiderbait Bob, and Ront before him.
I would use another...
What's that?
I said I would use another fireball in your place.
Well, the question
Maybe...
is who and
Wait, how many do you have?
He
Don't you have like 4?
Yes, if he casts them individually as 8d6, he will have 4 fireballs left.
I say go for it.
Not all of them. One will do, but the rest of us can...
Well, if I get...
Go on.
If I target the Archpriest, I should be able to... Well, I should be able to center this to get 2 and... The Monitor 2 and Kuo Toa 4.
I'm less worried about the nub sauces. I mean, you could center it so that you can get...
Oh, yeah, maybe I could get Clip... Yeah, whatever his name is. If I center it on Monitor 2. Or actually a square to the left of Monitor 2, so I don't hit Melrath, I guess.
Optional.
Alright, I'll do that.
Okay, give me just a second. I'm going to settle the targets. Here, and here. So before you cast anything, I just want to confirm. Your targets are Kuo Toa Monitor 2, Klib Dul Gut, and Kuo Toa Archpriest, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. You're good to go. Cast the spell.
Alright. Well, it's really inefficient to buff these, so I think I'm just going to use one.
Okay, well, it kind of doesn't matter about that, but the end result is Fixer Upper firmly plucks off a bead and hurls it with deadly intent, and as it sails across the battlefield, it once again impacts the sculpture, the altar, and sets it even further ablaze. The fires reach out across the battlefield, and you can roll your damage. Kuo Toa Monitor 2 is the only person who successfully saved. Concentration failure. So that reduces the AC, I believe, on the Archpriest, yes. 31 points of damage. That's not bad. I think that's actually pretty good. 5, 6, 5, 5. Yeah, that's kind of close to average, I think. Regardless. No, better than average. Regardless. Let's see. With this explosion, Kuo Toa Monitor 2 is knocked straight into bloodied values. Klibdul is still considered wounded and not bloodied yet, and the Kuo Toa Archpriest is slumped against the ground and still barely moving. He really doesn't look good. A lot of the fire has seared away the fishy flesh and revealed bare bone underneath, which itself is charred. So we go to the very top of the round. Kuo Toa Monitor number 2 will act.
Mwahaha.
Kuo Toa Monitor 2 moves to here, and he's going to attempt to hit Melrath. He swings his fist at you, and as he does, and it arcs, you pull up your shield just in time to deflect, apparently, a sparking fist. Apparently, this creature has some lightning attack available to it.
Interesting.
Ront. Ront is going to attempt to hit Kuo Toa number 6 with his battle axe. He seems to land a solid blow. Does a pretty significant portion of damage. Is he actually...
It didn't actually.
He didn't. 6. And so he took 9. Knocked into bloodied value on one swing. At this point, Ront is going to attempt to move behind Fargus, which is going to get him 2 opportunity attacks. However, nobody tries to... 13... Okay, he manages. They both try to make out with him again, in terms of grapple attack for rule's sake. Ront, however, is more than strong enough to resist both of them and manages to escape their attempts to grapple.
That's a relief.
Bob, you are up. Please remember that in the event that you try to cast something like what is it called, Eldritch Blast, that you have disadvantage from being in melee combat with a creature. So if you have a spell that requires a saving throw, requires them to save against it, that's not affected, but anything that requires you to make an attack roll is. Is that clear?
No.
Okay.
So any attack spell is going to be affected?
If you look at Firebolt for a second, it says attack ranged +6, right? You click the magnifying glass in your spell.
Okay.
Okay.
Attack range +6.
So Firebolt is affected. Now if you click the magnifying glass for Toll the Dead, it says Wisdom DC 14. That's a save. Save spells aren't affected, but attack spells are. So the attack field is filled in for 1, and the save isn't, and vice versa. So that's what you need to look for when you're considering your turn.
Gotcha.
Melrath will be up after Spiderbait.
Okay. So what do we think is better? 3d8 or 4d6?
Well, first of all, who will you be targeting with this attack?
Probably the Archpriest, right?
I think that's the consensus among the party. And so you're going to try to cast a spell against it or a cantrip?
I mean, a cantrip's not going to do much.
So a spell.
Yeah.
Okay.
But both of these are wisdom saving.
Okay. The only other thing that... actually, you know what? Roll... I'm going to make the roll just because I can. Oh, marvelous. So I rolled a wisdom check for you. The only thing that I would point out is that, generally speaking, wisdom is a stat that is favored by religious characters.
Mhm.
And given that this is an archpriest, a wisdom saving throw against him might be easier for him to make than, say, a dexterity or a strength saving throw.
Gotcha. Mhm. Well, it worked last time, but that's not to say it'll work this time. Could do a 3d6. And you said Hellish Rebuke is only a reaction spell?
In the event that you get hit, you get to use it as a reaction.
Oh. Does it take a spell slot?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
In our case, we're both tieflings, so it's a once a day free that we get.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I am sorry. Serling is Chris is correct. Yes, that is a tiefling trait, and in fact, let me also.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just gonna put that in parentheses so I don't forget again. There you go.
Racial. Okay.
I just had to bring race into it.
So I guess I will do the Arms of Hadar.
Okay.
That's strength saving.
And oh, just so you know, Arms of Hadar is a range based on yourself in a 10-foot radius.
Oh, fuck.
And it affects each creature within the area.
Well, it's not gonna work.
Not this time.
Alright, well, what do you guys think? Should I try a Mind Spike again? Even though it's Wisdom? Because I'm out of options otherwise.
Well, your only other option at that point is Toll the Dead, because at least if Toll the Dead misses, you haven't lost a spell slot.
That's true, yeah.
So
even though it's Wisdom?
Yeah. The question is, do you think that it is worth risking a spell slot to in the chance that if it misses, you won't have any left?
What do you guys think? I mean, we have to kill this guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
On Snake's turn, I'm going to use my my other level 2 spell slot to shoot Scorching Ray again. And this time I'll remember that I'm an adaptive fire, so that means I don't roll ones. They get bumped to 2.
Oh, okay. Yes, that is.
So I think I should be able to kill him.
Okay.
So then in that case, why don't you roll something that doesn't give you any risk?
Yep.
Yeah.
Go for
Do
it.
that.
Oops.
Drop the cast right on top of the Archpriest. There you go. He fails, which means you get to roll your damage. Let me see something real quick.
Now, why does this have 2 damage on it?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
If the target is missing any of its hit points, it takes 1d12.
Yes, use 1d12.
Oh, okay.
Perfect.
Toll the Dead is a special spell unique to clerics of.
You killed him, nice.
Wow, well done. So, actually, let me just read this because I haven't read it too often.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
So you point at the Archpriest, and the sound of a massive church bell fills the air around it for a moment.
Sonic damage!
And that causes tendrils of necrotic damage to lash out.
Oh.
They grab the Archpriest and pull him into the bell, and moments later, a skeleton drops out.
Wow, nice finishing move. I love how he survives 2 fireballs, but he gets hit by a church bell and dies.
Right.
Well, I mean, ultimately, you can.
I just pointed at him.
Oh yeah, I know.
I'm going to go around pointing at people tomorrow, see if that happens.
It could happen.
It could always happen. Now, his skeleton also falls over the altar and sinks into the pool of blood. Next up in the initiative order,
nice.
Spiderbait.
Wait, huh? I thought all of his minions scattered after he dies, right? Oh. Come on, that's how it always works.
Spiderbait happens to look out into the water.
Hate you guys.
And he points and shouts. Another sound rises above the burbling cries of the Kuo Toa that assault you. The dark surface of the water further out bubbles and begins to foam. A thick, oily tentacle bursts forth, followed by another. Then two monstrous heads break the surface. Both resemble hideous, angry baboons with wickedly curved tusks. Where is it? Wickedly curved tusks. Both heads are attached to a single torso, and the monster's red eyes burn with bloodlust and madness. The creature rising from the dark lake must stand 30 feet tall or more, with water cascading down its back and shoulders. Upon reaching its full height, the great monster throws its head back and roars.
Are we going to have to defend this town against this thing, or run
Why
while
would you
it?
defend these insane creatures that tried to sacrifice you?
Yeah, I think it's time to run.
Yeah, this is well
We
beyond
we,
us.
we killed who we were supposed to kill. So
Most importantly of all, at this point, so now that this creature has risen out of the water, the Kuo Toa that are on land are now just completely insane. They have lost their shit. They were not expecting this. It is very rare for one of their gods to come to life and start stomping towards their town through the dark lake. Shit has popped off. Um, Spiderbait, um, Spiderbait sees the creature out in the water, and then he turns and shouts towards the party. With the archpriest dead and all of these people in chaos, there is an opportunity to loot and get all the reward that we were promised. Or we could always get into the boat. What do you think we should do?
We're not staying.
But it'll
wait,
only take a moment, I swear. I'll be quick.
so where he's rising from the water, I mean, isn't that kind of where the boats are, or is there a way to?
Let me be super specific. This
Okay.
creature is about 3 football fields away.
Okay.
He is way, way out in the dark lake. He is nowhere near the shore.
Okay.
You guys have, well, actually, you're not entirely sure because it hasn't moved yet, but you have at least one round, if not more, probably more, before he can cover that distance. Now, he is 30 feet tall, so his stride is quite considerable, but he's got to make the distance and slosh through all that water, which for any creature of his size would be considered difficult terrain because he has to move through all of that. So
Well, I don't like what Spiderbait's talking about. I think we should just run.
Okay. Here, I'll throw it to a quick vote. Same deal as before. If anyone wants to try to snatch the treasure on your way out, click a check mark. If you think it's too risky, click an X.
Is there anything we can roll for that in terms of?
Trying to figure out if it's worth it.
Yeah.
Oh, give me just a second.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait on that before we know or have.
So now I know who's greeting the party. I'm not surprised.
Wait a minute. Let me just check the thing. Okay. The treasure that was offered to you originally for this is things that were taken off of other people that were already sacrificed. There was a significant amount of coinage, which the exact tally I could not give you. A strand of matched pearls of high quality, which should be very valuable. 2 potions of healing, a potion of water breathing, a spell scroll of light, which admittedly is not super valuable, but there we are. Reams of silk with the spider design, azurite gems, Daragar made bronze cup, and a silver choker, also with a spider design, plus all that coinage.
Are there any necklaces that look like fireballs? Because that was fun.
Well, you would have to go through all of the treasure that is available to determine that.
And
So, for a reminder, I'm going to grab Fargus because we always grab Fargus.
quick question: where do we track? I thought we already had a lot of money.
Oh, if you go to inventory for the party, I can tell you right now that the party has, and I think you might be able to see this yourselves, the party coins.
No.
Do you see that?
Nope.
Okay.
No,
The party has 1,251 gold pieces and 4,112 silver pieces.
we don't need this. We should run.
Yeah, it didn't sound very
It's
valuable.
it's just all money. We already have money.
Well, the true value here is that if you can make it all the way across the lake to what's it called? Um, that shitty ass Daragar city. I can't remember its name. If you can make it all the way across to there, you will be able to purchase uncommon magical items like we did in the previous adventure. So the party would be generally much better outfitted, and you would of course need money for that. So just bringing that up.
I snatch and run with what little time we have.
Well, yeah, how do we? I mean, how much does it slow us down?
Well, here's the deal. Fargus right now is located at the site of one of the treasure sites. Okay, so you see where he is?
Mm-hmm.
The other treasure site is located here. Because this one, the place that he's currently located, is the space of the home of Plaplupine, which is the person that contracted you to do all of this. And then right here is the hut of her daughter that you just killed. So in terms of
Oops.
location to the well, she contracted you to do so, nobody's upset about it. As it currently stands, these two huts are fairly close to you. And so it's just a matter of getting around any Kuo Toa to get into them. And that shouldn't be too terribly difficult because each time they take their turn, they're going to do something essentially at random because they're not sure what to do about the monster approaching.
I'll go along with the closer hut, but I really think going to where Fargus is we're tempting fate personally. But
Yeah.
I see I'm being outvoted anyway, so okay.
Well, here's the other important thing. Part of this vote process is also a helpful way of determining what you personally will do on your turn. Just because, yeah, we're saving him. Just because, wow. Wait a minute. Sorry.
Sareth is already restrained because he had a
Rot,
net thrown on him.
Fargus, and Sereth are the only people. Oh, he's already restrained. Yeah, that works out for you guys. Are the only remaining NPCs.
Well, Spiderbait as well, and
Yeah.
Shushar and Stool.
Stool, who are not.
Don't forget Stool.
Oh, I forgot about Shushar. In the presence of this creature, Shushar has gone mad. His eyes have
Oh,
turned into
shit.
burning red coals. Now he's still incapable of combat because he doesn't really have a weapon, but he's gone crazy. He's out.
Screw him then.
Right, but Spiderbait rushes into the hut over here. So that's his turn. You can hear him rooting around in there. Melrath, you are up.
Can I use color spray on Kuo Toa number 5 and 6?
I thought they're pretty much out of commission.
Well, they are randomly trying to grapple creatures on their turn.
Oh, they're the ones that are okay.
Yeah, they're the ones that have that weird infestation. So
Yeah.
you can cast it on them if you would like to.
Yep. So I need what? 6d10.
So you would just click, throw cast into the chat space.
Oh, there is no cast for color spray. It's just the effect button.
Oh, wait. So I'm sorry. Let me pull up your spell list so I can see this effect then. Action, color spray. Oh, they're just straight up blinded. That's it? Oh, I'm sorry. So roll 60-10. Yes, go ahead. Roll 60-10. 23. And let me check against. Okay, so Kuo Toa, okay, so you can affect one or the other.
I'll do number 5.
Okay, so then I'm going to grab this effect. There. Kuo Toa number 5 is blinded. Oh, it starts with the lowest hit points. My mistake. Well, since we already know one is bloodied and the other one isn't, that isn't really much of a reveal.
And I'm going to move to the other side of this monitor.
Other side of this. Okay. He makes no effort to stop you. He's transfixed out into the open water. Actually, if you move towards the hut, you can also pick up some of the treasure as dictated by. You would move to like here if you wanted to.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll move you to here. So you two are.
Fargus was up here.
Yes, he is supposed to be up there. So you two are looting that, and is there another token I can grab real quick? Here. All right. This token right here is just to represent that this is the hut that you need to loot. So that is Melrath's turn. Klibdulgut rushes forward to Kuo Toa number 6. His speech is going to be translated for everyone, but he shouts out, Limo Gugan approaches! I shall be his head priest! And he uses his pincer staff and attempts to gut Kuo
Well, he
Toa
crit.
with a crit.
To Ront?
Wait, what?
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, he did damage to Ront.
Sorry about that, Ron. Really, it's.
Hey!
I apologize. Didn't mean to go like that. Aha!
Killed him.
He uses his piercing staff and guts the creature, killing it instantly.
Like a fish.
Upon doing so, his eyes become red, burning coals, and you can see a smoke begin to come out of his mouth.
Great.
Fargus! Fargus, what will Fargus do? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Yeah, he dives into the hut as well to help loot. Snake, you are up.
Snake will use his other scorching ray spell on our evolving priest.
The one that just gutted the guy?
Yeah.
Okay, he's targeted.
Okay, so I just cast them.
Yes.
All right.
Cast once and wait. Okay, if you get any crits, you're going to immediately roll damage, but for now that's a hit, so roll the next one. That's a miss. Go ahead.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Sorry.
Pardon my French.
Roll your 2d6.
And the one becomes a 2, so it's 8.
It's 8. Let me see here. Okay.
Pathetic.
Unfortunate. There you go. So that is Snake's turn. Are you going to move anywhere? If you want to escape, move towards the docks. Okay. Oh, excuse me. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You can actually make it all the way to here. If you want to, you're going to have to make it to the end of the dock to escape.
Okay.
So you can secure a boat once you get close enough. Once you get to the end of the dock, it'll just take your action. You'll
All right.
secure the boat. Sareth is in death saving throws. Sareth suddenly becomes conscious again. He groans and clutches at his side. He shakes his head. What's happening? He utters. Tazarath, you're up.
Why in the name of hell were you making out with a fish?
I was doing what? What are you talking about? Wait, is that why I'm so wounded? That doesn't make any sense.
The altar is on fire and there's an elder god emerging from the lake. Nothing of this makes.
At that, Sareth rolls his head back, looking behind him towards the lake, and sees the massive creature starting to move forward. he turns back to you, and his face is pale, which is very noticeable on Drow. Um, and his mouth just sort of flaps wordlessly. What will you do,
Help!
Kazareth?
Help Farkas get the supply. I'm going to charge at the evolving priest. And what am I going to do? Can I do bonus action before a normal action?
Yes, you can choose to order your actions in any way that is convenient to you.
It is time for Searing Smite in that order, and then attack.
Wait, so for Searing Smite, I just want to check something real quick. Oh, I see. Skills, abilities, Searing Smite. I'm trying to find it. Is it under features?
No, it's not. It's a spell.
The spell. Oh, okay. Then Searing Smite. Self. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. Okay, you cast Searing Smite. It's now cast. You don't have to. You, as the player, don't have to do anything. You can go ahead and make your roll.
Okay. Great sword attack against Klib Dolagut.
Yep, I have him targeted. You hit.
Well, that was a terrible roll, but whatever.
There you go. Your greatsword slashes out and explodes in flame, engulfing the creature. He roars, and you can see that the flames within him are starting to stoke even further. This apparently has made him particularly tough because he did not look like he could have lasted such a blow prior to his transformation.
Quick question. Did he make a con save?
Good question. He did not actually make the
I don't
con
think
save.
I did
thought
that.
he was supposed to. I can roll for that real quick. Oh, he gets a 1. Is there a further effect?
It says another 1d6 fire if he fails the con save.
Okay, roll a d6 for me in the chat, and I'll add the damage to him.
Let me.
Oh, wait a minute. You know what? Is it supposed to be 2d6 or 1d6?
It's 1d6 fire on the hit, and then another 1d6 if he fails his con save. So.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make certain.
God damn it.
And actually, it dealt it to him just like it was supposed to. That's fine. Kuo Toa number 3. Kuo Toa number 3 rushes over to Klibdulgut and throws himself prostrate before him. Please, please, I serve Limugugun, he cries out in Kuatoan. Number 4. Number 4 races to the altar and uses the fire with that is burning in it, which is dramatically increased in intensity, although it doesn't actually shed much in the way of light, to set his spear tip aflame. So now he has additional fire damage on his attacks. Kuo Toa number 5. Chris, make a strength saving throw.
Strength save. God damn it.
Oh no, Chris. Make a constitution saving throw.
Come on. Oh, thank God.
The creature manages to grapple you, and it attempts to force its fishy mouth upon yours. You can see the tendrils of that infected material reaching out towards you, but your paladinly good health manages to hold it at bay.
Quick question. Does that count as an attack that I can hellish? Oh, I didn't get damaged. Never mind.
Yeah, I was about to say. Pitcher Upper, it is your turn, and you currently have Klibdulgut targeted if you care to continue your assault.
I'll throw another fireball. I can catch the 4 of them, I guess.
Oh, God. Take me out in the process?
No, if I center it like 2 spots
he actually
over.
Doesn't even need to draw it. I can see that he is correct.
Yeah.
He can.
Okay, fair point.
So let me just make sure I have this right. Yeah, I have them all targeted. So go ahead and cast your fireball.
Okay.
Okay. Failure. So half fail and half succeed. You can roll your damage.
Port 1 succeeded.
Unfortunately. 26 damage. So let's see here. Kuo Toa number 3 has outright died from the assault. Where is he on this list? Here he is.
Kneeling.
His scorched remains are prostrate before the creature kneeling. Aside from that, every Kuo-Toan that was caught in the blast looks extremely bad off. Like, what's his name? The archpriest that was around before. You can start to see bits of their charred skeleton underneath some of the areas ripped away by fireball. So,
I'm going to move as well.
go for it. Where are you moving?
Can I get up to here?
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Actually, let me check one last thing. Main movement speed is 30. Okay, good. So we go back to the top of the round. Now, at the end of each round, the creature that has arisen from Dark Lake moves forward, and it moves forward at, not a tremendous pace, but it is pushing all of that water aside. So this first round, it's managed to move maybe a fourth of the distance that it needs to cover to actually reach this location. Now, the closer it gets, the choppier the waves are going to get, and that can cause some difficulty with your boats. None of those waves have reached you yet. They're still a good ways out, and they have a lot of opportunity to dissipate, but I wouldn't let it last too long. Kuo Toa Monitor 2. I'm not quite sure what he did last time. I think he cast Bane. Was that right?
That got dispelled due to lack of concentration, like 3 rounds ago.
Okay.
I think he was staring blankly.
Okay. At this point, Kuo Toa Monitor. Let me think. What will he do? What will he do? Ah. Having seen the effect that Klibdulgut gained from worshipping Limugugan, he decides to attack and hope to usurp his opponent. He swings his fist, and Klibdulgut catches it in his hand and uses Hellish Rebuke. Oh.
Killed him?
Indeed. The Hellish Rebuke incinerates Kuo Toa Monitor number 2. His skeleton drops to the ground as ashy fish flakes float through the air. Ront is up. Ront moves over to here. He's going to grab Sareth and start pulling him away. So he manages to make it to here. Bob, you are up.
So, are we still attacking, or are we just getting the fuck out of here?
Could you blast the priest and help me get the hell?
The new one?
Klibby.
Yeah, Clibby.
Clivy.
Clibby. Okay. Oh, too many damn windows.
Nice roll.
Damn it.
That is unfortunate. As you attempt to use your Eldritch Blast, filled with your otherworldly energy that you wield many times before, when you attempt to blast this creature, it uses the staff and deflects it away with a single swipe.
I don't like this.
Spider bait.
So wait, can I still move down and get some loot?
Oh yeah. Well, actually, that was what I was about to tell you. As soon as each of the characters that are adjacent to that hut finish, they will all carry away the loot from within there. Nobody else needs to go inside.
Oh,
If you want
Can
to
I
get
s-
loot, you'd have to go all the way down over to where that other little icon is, like right here.
Yeah, and you're never coming back if you do that.
Yeah.
That's possible.
can I still move after this?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
You have 30 feet that you can move. Each square is 5 feet. Oh,
Cool.
good news! You guys can all fit in one boat now.
Why is that, I wonder?
Oh, let me also add to the dead NPCs list. I forgot to
Oh,
mention.
that's hilarious.
Char.
Poor Bupito.
Melrath.
I'm moving away from the hut and throwing a poison spray at the.
Number 5. Go for it. Unfortunately, the creature succeeds on his.
That ability is really crappy.
Well, actually, just out of curiosity. Oh, he only has a +2, so he has to roll well, is what it comes down to. All right.
Aren't you a fighter?
Mhm.
Yep.
I don't know.
Next up is Klib Dul Gul Glut.
Clear de Geert.
Oh, I see. He is going to attempt to lash out against Tazarath. Oh, shit. Okay.
My concentration on fixer-uppers extra 2 AC has fallen off, but
Oh well.
Worse yet, so when this creature lashes out with its staff, the end of it has a pincer. And now, due to the
Quick.
effects of this...
quick question. When does Hellish Rebuke come?
As soon as you take damage.
I'm going to do that just as soon as I take damage.
Okay, I'm still going to finish my description.
Okay.
The creature's staff, which once had a dead claw upon it, the claw is now animate and grabs you as part of the attack. Now you can roll your Hellish Rebuke. Target him. Okay. Does he still take damage on a success?
He takes half damage
Okay.
on
So
a.
drop the damage directly on the character on the field.
Okay. It's 3d10 because it's a second level Hellish Rebuke.
Okay. Well done. Unfortunately for poor Klib, your demonic influence is well seated and you have a greater... Wait a minute. How did you cast it at 2?
Because it's a second level Hellish Rebuke due to my Infernal Legacy.
Oh,
After you reach 3rd level, you can cast the Hellish Rebuke spell once per day as a second level spell.
gotcha. Okay, thank you. Your Hellish Rebuke lashes out and the fiendish influence finally overcomes this creature's burgeoning power and manages to burn it from within. So he is dead. With him dead, Fargus races out of here and does a double run to make it all the way to the end of the block.
Wow.
He's a fast little fucker.
He has his arms full of loot in his pack as well. Snake, you are up. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So you can make it all the way to here.
I'll fire a shot at
Number 5.
Eric's obsession with Kuo Toa number 5. I don't want to let him down. So
All right, give me a second. Yeah, go ahead.
what am I gonna fire? Do I have any spells left?
Oh, I'm not grappled anymore.
Well
yeah,
done.
I can take that off.
And Sareth is still tied in a net, but he's not unconscious.
Tazarath effect. There we go.
Oh, okay. I'll waste a chromatic orb.
Are you sure you don't want to do like some weak ass cantrip?
Well, okay. I'm very suggestible.
Okay.
It's just trying to come up with a way to get me killed.
Yes, actually, I was hoping that I could get him infected.
No, I'll just use magic missile
Okay.
because it's reliable.
Very reliable.
Pew pew pew.
You can drop the
No.
damage right on top of his head.
Oh, that's right. There's no roll. Shoot. To find him. Which one is he? 4 or 5?
Number 5.
Number 5.
Oh, no, he's healthy.
Yeah, he is. He got healed.
All right.
That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. The
Okay.
creature did not reach bloodied. The
All
magic
right.
missiles race across the battlefield and they impact him. And each spot where he would bleed, the infection festers anew and clots.
Ooh.
Yuck.
Yeah, we should kill him.
Sareth is up. Sareth can only move at half speed and crawls out onto the dock. Hazarath, you are up.
So if I attack and kill him and then move, that's doable, right?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Spiderbait was supposed to run on his turn. He should be there. Actually, he should be right about there. Go on.
Okay. I think I'm going to do Great Sword Attack on the thing on number 5 with Divine Smite.
Okay, so
Burn my last spell.
So check off the spell slot and then roll the attack roll and let's see what you get.
On number 5.
You hit?
Okay.
So roll your damage and then we'll add your smite afterwards. Okay.
Alright. Divine Smite damage is 2d8 rate.
Okay.
Why did it?
Hmm?
It is not doing it.
Is this actually an ability on your character sheet? Actually,
There.
Yeah, you're supposed to just roll the 2d8. So an additional 9 damage, which did not go on. This is number 5. Number 5. There you go. Your greatsword cleaves the creature in half, and your radiant damage causes the infection that started to fester to be burst away by the holy light. It's ironic because you're evil.
Yeah, it is ironic.
Actually, I don't think it is holy light. I think it's fiendish
It would be.
light. Yeah, but
Yeah, it would be
regardless,
unholy.
unholy light.
I can run after that, right?
Yes, it extinguishes the life on the creature. Was that 30 feet?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I could get it just about to where Sam, but
Okay, perfect. Marvelous. Next up, Kuo Toa number 4. Kuo Toa number 4 hurls himself into the flames.
Bye.
Saraka. At this point,
3, 4,
don't worry
5.
about it. You've gathered what treasure you can. Everybody races to the end of the dock. Once you get there, everybody works together to get the boat as secured as it can be. Again, these are super shitty boats, and your packs are laden with goods. As soon as you jump into it, it kind of sinks pretty low in the water, but you're still probably going to be able to make it. So let me grab, and then here we go. I got that taken care of. Weights towards, okay, and then here it is. Okay.
What? No!
himself in there.
Oh, poor guy got confused.
So at this point, you guys all leap into the boat. You grab paddles, as many paddles as you can. You're just furiously churning at the water. As you do, you're periodically impacting on creatures that are underneath. Other Kuo Toa from other parts of the village are attempting to escape into the water. Being amphibious, they actually have pretty good mobility once they actually, get into the safety of that water. But as soon as they do, ravenous, toothed manta rays leap out and consume them, and the water is churning with blood and bile. as uh, as you guys are rowing, you manage to row and get far enough away that a this large creature doesn't see you, and now that combat is over, if anyone would like to attempt to roll a religion check to try to figure out what this creature is.
Yes.
Ah, oh my. So yeah, give me just a second. Nope, that's the player's handbook. I don't want that. That's not it. I think it was here. Alphabetical index. I'm gonna grab the monsters manual because I know right where it is.
Can you give us any insight into the transformations that were happening as well?
You're gonna need to get away from here before I can try to assist you with understanding that aspect of things. Oh, wait a
Okay.
minute. Maybe it's actually at the back of this book and not that book, and that's why I didn't find it. Yes, I have located the appropriate information. Let me see here. That's not him. This is him. So both Snake and Bob recognize this creature at about the same time. Bob recognizes this creature because it is one of the many things that his patron, that imbues him with power, considers an ancient and mortal enemy. Snake recognizes it because of, well, his background as a Yuan-Ti. This demon is Demogorgon, the
Ooh.
prince of demons, the sibilant beast, the master of spiraling deaths. Demogorgon is the embodiment of chaos, madness, and destruction, seeking to corrupt all that is good and undermine order in the multiverse, to see everything dragged howling into the infinite depths of the abyss. Let's see.
So you're saying I shouldn't have set fire to the altar?
No. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I want to make sure I have all the appropriate information that you need here. This creature is also known that its gaze brings madness and confusion to any who confront it. There is a spiraling Y sign of Demogorgon's cult that can inspire madness in those who contemplate it for too long. All followers of the Prince of Demons go mad sooner or later. This creature is one of the most powerful beings in the multiverse. It is a god of the realm in which it inhabits as a demon. And now that you are aware of it and have identified it, as it were, you can now recognize its sign anywhere that it appears. So for the rest of the game, if Demogorgon's influence spreads and you see that sign, I will tell you and it will be instantly translated and you won't have to remember it. Okay?
Thanks.
So as for the ritual itself, since you have time to contemplate that while you're madly rowing away, again, roll me some religion checks and let's see what you come up with. All right, Melrath has all the information for the...
Hey, I beat Melrath.
We're all
Screw you, Melrath.
doing pretty well.
It turns out that the best that you can piece together by their bizarre rituals is that ultimately the ritual had already been set into effect as soon as the first blood hit the altar from a sentient being.
Hmm.
The priest crying out the name Limogorgon, which is apparently Demogorgon in Croatoan, um, it was sufficient to complete the ritual, which had been long prepared prior to this moment. And in fact, it's kind of funny. You can sort of see it now. The creature has two heads. The octopus had two legs
Mm.
tied together, tentacles splayed out just like it. The flesh is similar to this strange creature. And so you did not directly set this into effect. It was likely going to happen unless you could quickly kill the archpriest. And knowing
Mm.
the hit points that it had, that wasn't likely to happen.
No.
So at this point, the party rose into the darkness of the Dark Lake. And thank you very much for putting up with me. I know that this ran late. Um, we will continue the adventure next time and confront the effects of Demogorgon being brought into the mortal realm.